Glad we're able to survive the big snowstorm of 2014, I guess. Is that our first one this year?
That was a starter.
I was, sorry I missed it.
As an appetizer.
I was watching out the window, so, seeing what was going on. I'm assuming that since Pickens County scathed all that and to answer some of the rumors that was in that, you didn't send any equipment to Atlanta and all that good stuff. I didn't think so. And we did not, Pickens County did not either. So
Everything in my inventory rolled in Pickens County and Gilmer and Fannin respectively.
nah.
I wasn't asked to send anything. The week before, when they were trying to predict that, there was some mention that we might be on standby to go into the metro area, but it never turned out that way.
And I've had requests to do that also, not this particular time, but only time we get requested to do that is in case it doesn't hit Pickens.
Yeah.
And it hits Stafford County South, then I have no problem. But our home county comes first, as everybody knows. I was kind of, by reading that email there, I was kind of pleasantly disturbed, and like that people would take misinformation and spread it. But me and Greg are not surprised on how some of that stuff operates anyway.
Well, we have so many good tools to spread rumors with nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
It's out facts.
Yeah, it doesn't have to have any facts about it whatsoever.
Right.
Curtis?
No.
EOC, just a quick review over this last week's issue. You have, I know you and, oh, there's Rodney.
Yeah, he's hiding over here.
I think Rodney was trying to fill in on some of that, trying to get his head around that. Did y'all have any issues that had come up during that in regards to roads or culverts or equipment?
Nothing that you, as far as that you wouldn't expect. I mean, we did have a couple of pieces of apparatus get stuck up on Henderson Mountain, but it happens.
That the ones that road department had to get out?
Yeah. They were, the rescue slid off the road. He was chained up. He was too steep a grade, going down grade. It wouldn't stop. So, no damage to the vehicles. Just they were unmovable until we could get some up there to them. Yep. Now that's really the only road issue as far as access that we had a problem with. All the rest of our equipment was chained and ran most of the calls uneventful. It just took a long time to get there.
Rodney, do you have any?
No, sir, I'm just working with Chief Howard and learning the system.
Norman, were you in much last week?
But I guess evidently we have more than one EOC.
Evidently. We're supposed to have one that's down here behind the building.
Yes.
I have been told that there is two running, another one besides the one we've got. Don't know how the state likes that, can't help it. But it is what it is. It would save taxpayer dollars to have one. And granted, everybody cannot be in charge. Got to have somebody to be the leader.
Well, in addition to that, it seems like the state communications is with this designated DOC here.
Correct.
And it just, it seems difficult to me that we would have two separate EOCs operating.
It is difficult. Have not addressed that subject yet. Believe me, it's on my radar to discuss as times go on. It's just, why are you letting taxpayer dollars having to fund two of them and just consolidate and have one, make everything more simpler operated? I'm sorry, I can't take all these guys out to lunch and have supper with them every night and be chums and buddies, and it is what it is. We're all adults. But I don't know, there must be an issue there somewhere, and I find out what the problem is, or nobody will tell me what the problem is. Granted, I'm all for having a backup system in case ours goes down, but that's not seems to be the issue right now. How's your equipment? You got anything still running and everything?
Yeah, everything, it's all still running. We did have a couple of issues with one of the salt trucks, to start off with. And that was, you can't get the heater decided to quit. You can't go out with it, so it was delayed a couple hours. We ended up putting 45 loads, salt and gravel. And, you know, we ran the trucks to start off with 24 hours, and then we scaled back a little bit and went to like a, 18-hour day and just kind of scaled back from there. Our priority Tuesday night was just basically to get everybody home. And, we did succeed in that mission. Worked, like telling earlier, worked with Sam and the DOT. I mean, which I think that's our function in life. I mean, we're not gonna get here and go against each other. Be real nice if the city of Jasper would at least look at purchasing something. And I know I'm not trying to push any buttons, but the city of Jasper
Has no equipment.
they had a skid steer out one day, and it puts us in a bad way because the city streets are in the county, and I mean, we're gonna, you don't wanna say like Cove Road, we can't just treat our section of Cove Road, because one of the worst parts of Cove Road is coming up, through in the city limits of Jasper.
And the city does not reimburse us for anything that we do inside the city.
No, and I mean, it's one of those things, I mean, and I'm not, I be, as honest as I can be, I'm not looking for reimbursement, I'm just looking for, we need all the equipment we can get, I'd love it if Sam and the DOT could have us 5 or 6 trucks running, because I know they would, help us at that point. It just seems like it's time, for them to maybe look at, like a snow plow or something. I mean, I'm not, and as these commissioner meetings come up, and obviously there's some people that's upset, there's ways and means out here to do this that's not that costly. You can get the hoppers that'll go in, like a service truck, that'll spread the sand and gravel and salt or whatever mixture you want to use.
Give us a review of what we got for the county.
The county has 2 single axle dump trucks. Basically they're supposed to haul about 7, to 10 tons max. And we do have the salt spreaders in the back of them that are, mounted in the box, chained down. One has a pony motor, gasoline engine that it runs the slinger and all the belts off of. The other one is completely hydraulic. It runs off the truck's hydraulics. We have 3 service trucks that are 4-wheel drive that are equipped with snow plows. And, so basically, we're able to do the salt and gravel and, do some plowing with the snow plows. The next big thing, what we would like, I mean, and from our perspective, we would like to go ahead and step on up with the big trucks and get the big hoppers. I mean, because we're, these 45 loads that we put out, that's very labor intensive, because we're loading the truck up, we're probably getting, 3 to 5 tons of actual product on the truck, and we run out and put it out, then we have to turn around and come back. Obviously, the bigger the truck, the bigger the hopper, the fewer trips you have to make back.
Do they make and I'm sure they do, they make a hopper you can actually drop down on one of our tandem?
Yes, they do.
Are they self-contained or are they hydraulic?
The best way, most, which we could go either way, I mean, the trucks have hydraulics on them, it's just adding some more control, stuff like that, but we've been very impressed with the one that we bought that has a pony motor on it. I mean, it is, it's a self-contained unit. You just throw which is a remote control box, which is hardwired in, and you crank the pony motor from the truck, and you just, activate the belts, the slinger and all that. So, you're not scavenging off the hydraulics of the truck so much.
Is it a little diesel motor or a gas?
No, it's a gas motor.
Gas powered.
And it, like I said, knock on wood, we've had that for 4 or 5 years now, and not had any trouble with it. And 2, we'd like to go ahead, if we were able to get the big hoppers for the big trucks, go ahead and put the big snow plows on the trucks, because it's, there's several different thought processes on treating snow and ice, but, the best way I think, put the plow down and then put the product out the back, so one truck can do it all at that point. And it just seems like, and watching the DOT work, the bigger the truck, the more stable it becomes, and obviously we run chains on dump trucks during this whole event.
Why don't you get us a cost of a hopper and one big snow plow? See what that would cost, because what I'd like to do, if we decide, and I mean we as a commissioner decide to take another unit, we could use the spreader to go in any one of the trucks, but is a snow plow interchangeable with or you have to go with a KW or a Chevrolet or a Ford or?
Now, where it gets you, you just have to have the mounts on the truck. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you got the frame that holds it.
Kind of accustomed to that particular truck. Then on the front axle,
Yeah.
part of that raceway slides up on the front axle.
Be my luck, I'd have it on one truck, maybe the truck would be broke down.
That's true.
That's
I
exactly
see
what
that
we're
too.
running.
That's what does happen.
The actual plow would bolt up either, like you used to have a bracket on the Chevrolet and a bracket on the Ford, and the actual plow would probably fit either bracket.
And see, the spreading machine would be universal.
It'd be better to put the brackets on all of them so he could interchange them.
Or at least two of them.
Yeah, I mean, spend a little bit more money.
Just get two brackets and one plow.
Right.
I just hate to, and I know we're getting video, and I don't mind telling, but I just hate to spend a whole lot of money on something I'm just gonna use once every 5 years.
Right.
Exactly.
And then time we need it again, the hopper don't work, motor on the carburetor is messed up on the pony motor, you know, and
That's exactly what happened.
then you're
Well, that,
rusty.
and with ours, and I mean, I'm gonna brag on my guys, they know how vital that equipment is. That, one of those salt hoppers that we run is actually a retired unit from the DOT that was retired and bought by Pickens County back in like 2001, and we're still running it. So, you know, my hat's off to them, because that's how well they maintain it. I mean, when this stuff's put up, it's oiled, it's checked, and then they will go down there, because it's real easy in the spring, summer to forget about it. But like the pony motor, they make sure they drain the gas off of it and all that. So, you know, and I know it's a big expense, and I agree 100%. If we don't put it up and store it, you know, spot on, yeah, you get it out, yeah, you can't wait till it starts snowing and drag the stuff out. But I agree, you know, I don't wanna, you know, there's a whole lot of other stuff we could, spend money on versus the snow equipment. That's why I kinda wanna get these prices up before your work session, because I know it's, you know, that's the buzz. I mean, that's the problem right now.
Well, if we can, you know, if you happen to come across a DOT truck on the side of the road, if you'll call me, about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll go by and get
We'll
it.
just go get it.
We'll just go get it. And then Sam just have to see where it went.
So let's say I'll try it out, but it's,
Greg, what about supply, salt stuff?
we're gonna have to re-up, a lot of the salt that we used was salt that we bought 2.5 years ago. You know, we kept it covered up, kept it, you know, it's in the bag, so it's been kept well. You know, there again, there's an expense, you know, when we start talking about budgets. You know, my budget was already so close, you know, they didn't, you know, there's not room to buy a bunch of salt and stuff like that. But again, that's something that we learned a long time ago, that you need, if you think you're gonna need it, you better go ahead and get it. You can't wait till an event happens and then try to scratch it up. And, you know, it's a decision for the commissioners to make, you know, how much do we spend? You know, and we'll go back to the Atlanta scenario. You know, everybody wants to blame the DOT. You can't solve what you can't get to. You know, and I mean, when there's so many cars on the road, you know, we did not have anything like that, but, you know, like Cove Road 53, they were blocked with cars. So it don't matter how many salt trucks you got, or how many employees you got. If you can't get through, you can't do it no good, so.
When this kind of weather starts, so that everybody knows it's more so for her to be able to pull this out, GDOT does not stop until we have our routes clear. That means day and night. That means pulling in resources when available from other places. We try to stay on top of it, you know, anticipate it before it even starts, and work with it until we've got it cleaned off. You know, those are my orders. So just, you know, people have to bear with us. We have a limited supply of equipment, just like the county does. And they really never seemingly increased the amount of equipment, even though we have increased road mileage under our maintenance belt, so to speak. You know, built more lanes, maybe not necessarily more highways, but as you widen a road, I don't care if you just put in a passing lane, you just increase the lane mileage. That's just that much more area that truck's gotta go clean off, you know. And I've been working with the department for 20 years, and the rolling stock has not changed in this area. But we have added a few lanes, so people need to be mindful of the fact it takes a little longer to clean it off. It's not all just 2-lane roads snaking through the mountains like it once was. Priority is 515, and we work our way out from there when it is an area-wide event. If it's just snowing on Burnt Mountain, we're gonna run top Burnt Mountain.
And while I got Mary here, also, I want to be sure that the citizens know when they look at this is that it's one thing for Pickens County to come out and clean a subdivision or a secondary road, but if you don't have your main roads cleared first, where are they going to go once you get those internal roads cleared? So everything's got to work together. We all coexist together, and I'd like to, clear a street in front of everybody's driveway. But if once you get it cleared and they can't go nowhere, what good is it? So it's got to be planned out, work together, and hopefully, just biggest thing is get the information out there ahead of time, knowing that it's going to come. And I think Pickens County, whether it's school system or road or the city or whatever, did a good job getting the word out ahead of time and shutting everything down before it got in here. And that was one of the life saving. The public cannot. Well, they can, but. It's not like the public was not informed of the fact that we had bad weather coming in, get your milk and bread, hopefully 24 hours earlier.
Yeah.
So, granted, we have got to keep the hospital roads open, we've got to keep our ambulances and fire trucks running. That has got to be top priority, whether anything else is cleared open or not.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll keep proceeding.
I realize everybody thinks their job's essential. And a lot of them are. It's not all just hospital, healthcare services, and public works, but I realize the poultry industry being as strong as it is in our North Georgia area, when it's time to catch those chickens, it's time to catch those chickens. When it's time to feed them, it's time to feed them. And their trucks have to roll. I realize that. I would like to see more of their trucks equipped with chains when they do hit the road, knowing something's going to happen. It's not going to tear up the highway. It's really not going to tear up their tires. They just need to be prepared. And we had somewhat of a debacle on Highway 53, and the majority of it was poultry trucks. They had issues in Cherokee County, I understand, with chickens on trucks. And they're, pressing DOT to get that road open so they can get that live chicken back to the plant before the 10-degree weather freezes it in the coop. Well, that's all fine, well and good, but when Highway 20 turns into a parking lot, everybody's scrambling to get home, it makes that job impossible to do.
Sure.
Just nearly impossible. If you can get somebody out of the way, we'll try to get a truck through. We don't quit. We don't throw our hands up and say, no, it's too much. But we do try to be smart. When it gets down to 0 at night, there's really no sense in going out there and wasting material. We'll have staff on standby. If there's an accident and we get called by 911, we're going to rush out there and try to do what we can to help facilitate, cleaning up that accident if it's ice or something like that. But it does no good for us to melt it and it turn right around and freeze back into a sheet of clear ice. So people are at work, those trucks are rolling when they have to, but we're going to get most of the work done in the daytime in the sunshine, and that's how we do, People need not expect us to clean a road off at 3 o'clock in the morning and at 3 degrees.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. I don't care what you're putting down.
You actually make it worse
You
when
make
you try
it
to
worse.
do that.
You make it worse. We can employ calcium chloride, we can use salt, we can use rock, but at 3 degrees, none of those three do anything for you other than the rock might give you a little traction. And we do change the mixtures. If we're working at night and we have a situation like that, we send out rock because we're trying to give you some traction. We don't need to be trying to melt it because it's going to freeze right back, just that quick. So if the event comes in a way that we have no precipitation, no freezing problems up here, probably all of our equipment will go south to assist. Same thing happens when we have really tough ones up here. Sometimes they pull it north.
I knew it was going south, and then the last 2 days they showed us getting it.
Well, like Robert said earlier, we have mutual aid agreements with every county around us, you know, so if we're sitting up here dry as a bone and we've got equipment we can help, you know, Cherokee or whoever with, you know, we're gonna do that, but it's not like we just Tuesday morning said, hey, it looks bad in Atlanta, let's go, Sam.
Part of it depends upon, you know, where the weather's situated, because the metro district, District 7, they have snow and ice equipment. But when you get below Atlanta into the 3rd district and the 2nd district, they don't have any. They might have one plow, one hopper per district, because they don't receive that kind of weather. They don't have that need, so the state's not spent all that money and resources that far down, you know. And it would make sense if they got the weather we didn't, for us to take our equipment down there and assist those people. Didn't work out that way this
And
year.
over the years, they have been full when they've worked Atlanta,
Yeah.
when it's iced over before, but none on this occasion.
Each district tries to take care of themselves, the 1st district being out of Gainesville. They're just like us in topography and latitude. They get weather just like we do, you know.
If we'd finished all of our roads in one day, then the next day would have been on our way to.
That's right, for sure. They would have told us where to go.
Yeah.
Load up and go, boys, so that's what we do.